Welcome to the Exchange Daily, the briefing for CIOs, CISOs, CTOs, and tech leaders across government and industry. Today is December 26, 2025, and here is the news that you can use. We're tracking a new federal push to accelerate AI in clinical care, a fresh signal on next-generation wireless competitiveness, and a pair of actively targeted security product issues that demand disciplined patch governance. We'll also hit an identity security draft from NIST that's directly relevant to modern tokens, APIs, and AI agents. Let's get into it. First up, the Department of Health and Human Services posted a request for information in the Federal Register on accelerating the adoption and use of AI in clinical care. This is where policy, reimbursement, procurement, and patient safety all collide, so it's worth attention even if you don't work in healthcare. For CIOs and CTOs, this is an early indicator that agencies and payers want more measurable evidence, more auditability, and more operational guardrails before AI becomes routine in workflows. For CISOs, it's also a reminder that clinical AI is inseparable from data governance, model security, and third-party risk controls. If you have a point of view, treat the comment window as a strategic lever, not paperwork. Next, the White House released a memorandum titled Winning the 6G Race, and you should read it as an infrastructure and competitiveness signal, not as a telecom-only issue. The practical takeaway is that next-generation wireless networks will shape how quickly organizations can deploy low-latency, high-bandwidth services that AI depends on, especially at the edge. This also puts pressure on supply chain decisions, standards participation, and how you validate the security posture of the devices and software that sit between users and critical systems. If your org has a 5G roadmap, start asking what your 6G posture should look like, including vendor strategy and security baselines. The firms that plan now will have fewer surprise costs later. Turning to federal IT leadership, the Senate confirmed Kirsten Davies as the Chief Information Officer for the Department of Defense. A new CIO can shift the pace and shape of modernization, especially around enterprise architecture, identity, cloud, and cybersecurity execution. If you're a public sector CTO or a vendor executive, you should expect a renewed push for measurable outcomes, tighter alignment with mission needs, and fewer tolerance zones for legacy exceptions. If you're a CISO, leadership changes are also the right moment to revalidate who owns risk decisions and how those decisions get documented. Even outside defense, it's a useful reminder that governance is a technology control, not just a management concept. Watch the first policy and budget signals, because they'll reveal the real priorities. Now to identity security, where NIST published an initial public draft, NIST IR 8587, focused on protecting tokens and assertions from forgery, theft, and misuse. If your teams rely on single sign-on, federated identity, or machine-to-machine access, tokens and assertions are the keys to the kingdom, and attackers know it. The draft is a good forcing function to review how you handle token lifetimes, signing keys, validation logic, logging, and incident response when tokens are suspected compromised. This is especially relevant for agentic tools that act on behalf of users, because delegated access can turn into delegated blast radius. If you're pushing AI agents into day-to-day operations, make sure your identity team is part of that launch plan, not an afterthought. Identity hardening is one of the highest ROI moves you can make this quarter. In a quick patch governance wrap, Cisco published a security advisory for its secure email line tied to CV 2025-203-93, and WatchGuard published an advisory for Firebox and Fireware tied to CVE 2025-147-33. You don't need to memorize those numbers, but you do need to treat email security and edge appliances as first-class production systems with rapid patch expectations. The operational lesson is that your emergency change process must be real, exercised, and measurable, because these devices are popular targets and often sit in privileged network positions. If your teams can't patch quickly due to downtime fear, that's a risk decision, and it needs executive ownership. Tighten asset inventories, confirm which versions you run, And make sure you've got compensating controls when patch windows slip. This is what mature vulnerability management looks like under pressure. Finally, keep an eye on the next wave of federal health AI funding, because grants.gov listings for the NIH Primed AI program are signaling upcoming opportunities. Even if you're not a grant seeker, this is a market signal about where standards, datasets, and partnerships will concentrate next. For innovation leaders, the big question is whether your data governance, privacy posture, and clinical integration capabilities are ready to participate. For enterprise tech leaders, it's also a reminder that health AI is going to keep pulling on identity, security, and compliance disciplines that many organizations still treat as separate lanes. If you want to play in this space, start building the capability stack now, before the funding wave becomes a delivery crunch. The winners will be the groups that can prove trustworthiness, not just performance. That's the exchange for today. This update was assembled using a mix of human editorial judgment, public records, and reputable national and sector-specific news sources, with help from artificial intelligence tools to summarize and organize information. All information is drawn from publicly available sources listed in today's show notes, and readers should confirm time-sensitive details with official documents and briefings. All original content, formatting, and presentation are copyright 2025 Matora Solutions LLC, all rights reserved. Thanks for listening to today's Exchange Daily. We'll talk tomorrow.